Okay, we are recording. So welcome to December Tech Bite. Glad you could make it. Wanted to keep the topic kind of light today. So we decided to go ahead and talk a little bit about Smart One Cloud. I have a little bit of a change in format in that we have a slideshow to start with. It is like 12 slides. They're very fast. It won't take very long. I'm going to breeze through a lot of them. And then we have a short demonstration portion as well. There we go. So security management needs are evolving. Maybe they don't evolve quite as fast as security needs, like the newest IPS, or we saw that, what was it, Log4Jam, or whatever they call it, vulnerability this weekend. But management is not static the way you might think it is. You know, your needs change as time goes on. So what are some of those things that change? Well, you need to keep up with the latest security. That one's kind of a given, but it's ongoing and it's eternal, and it becomes a burden, right? That we have to continue to keep our latest hot fixes on there and make sure that we get our P's and Q's all square, right? The other thing that security management in the last 5 years or whatever has really become like an issue for it is rapid growth, right? We used to have very static environments, right? We had our data center and our handful of offices, and we had firewalls at each, and they all had a nice little MPLS route, and everything was like square and decided and kind of cut in stone. But that's not the case anymore. We got things in the cloud, we got things in virtual data centers. There's scaling. So there's change there, and then managing maintenance, right? Which is a little different than the first bubble here. Managing maintenance, the newest version comes out. Eventually, the old version goes end of support. It's difficult to manage updates and upgrades. It's also difficult to manage backups and snapshots, right? We have to have a kind of a plan for our backups. When will we do them? Who will be responsible? Where will we put the backups? Because you don't want to leave them on a management box that you're backing up, right? Because if something happens to that box, then your backup is gone. So it's changed a little bit, right? Oh, got a little play out things here, as you can see, basically describing the concerns there. So to these problems, we've introduced Smart One Cloud. And Smart One Cloud is essentially the same thing as your on-premise Gaia management server, whether it be virtual or physical. Gives you all the same features pretty much. However, it is hosted by us out on the cloud. So you don't have any hardware to install. You don't have any virtual machines to install. All you need is to manage it, and it's managed right from the Infinity portal, which we'll talk about in a second. So you always get the latest security management. We automatically update the newest features. On-demand expansion, right? You don't, with the traditional system, when you go past it, your threshold of gateways, let's say you have a 10 gateway management server. Once you get to 11, you're over, and you need to either swap that piece of hardware out or change out the license or what have you. With Smart One Cloud, it's on demand. You want to do another gateway, just add another gateway to your count. And then zero maintenance, right? We do the installation, we do the backups, we do the upgrading, we monitor the systems. It's all Checkpoint giving you that service. So to dive into that very briefly, again, it is done on the Infinity portal. So that also gives us that single pane of glass, that we speak about a lot, that all of our technologies, including firewalls, can be managed from the Infinity portal. On the second and third part there, it gives you the same access to control that if you've managed Checkpoint gateways, you know exactly what you're looking at in those two pictures. You have the same exact securities and features available to you. It auto scales, right? Again, it's in the cloud. We're just adding, count to it. So as your number of gateways grows, right, you see on the left, your storage capacities will grow as well. And then you can just add the gateways whenever you need, keep the logs however long you want, and it's just it's a service, right? It's management as a service. You can deploy a gateway in minutes. I'm actually going to show you that in the demo, but it's very easy. And I'll show you in a second. So we're going to go through that slide. Zero maintenance, right? This is important. You don't, the customer doesn't have to start up the service. They don't have to install anything on any machines. They don't have to deploy anything. They don't have to rack and stack anything. They don't have to do any upkeep. They don't have to worry about hard drives and power supplies failing, or a blackout at the data center, or an air conditioner unit blows out at the data center and now all your machines are dead. That's not a thing anymore, right? This is all in the cloud. It's all hosted. And so all of these things are taken care of by Checkpoint. And again, it's a flexible offering, right? There's multiple options. You can do one gateway, and you see on the left, that's for one gateway. We do have the 5-pack of gateways on the right as option 3. We also can do this, and some customers really like this for the SMB appliances, right? So if you have a scenario where you have many branch offices or retail outlets or something like that, a lot of customers are liking the cloud management for those, and they simply connect the SMB appliance, do their configuring, ship the box out to a location, and have somebody plug it in, and then it's ready to go. Security management from the cloud, right? So again, the benefits, right? It scales on demand, whereas you would have to add gateways as you went, and change licensing and stuff like that previously. The deployment time is under 2 minutes, and the reason for that is we keep a golden image, right, with the latest hot fixes on the latest version. And when you deploy a Smart One Cloud instance, it's up and running like very quick. It's a formation template, right? Whereas anybody who's done it on premise knows that between racking and stacking, unboxing, flashing the latest firmware, going and getting the latest OS. A big old hawk just landed out in my fence there. Sorry. Yeah, so the getting the latest version of the OS, whatever you need, and getting it installed, updated, takes a while. It probably takes an hour. Troubleshooting is part of the service, right? We do the troubleshooting, which is very, very nice. It auto scales again, and it's delivered from the cloud, so it kind of has its own high availability, right? It has the same 99.9999 uptime that we see with other cloud providers. The best security management meets the cloud. Again, always the latest management, on-demand expansion, and zero maintenance, right? And as you can see in the picture, and we're going to see in a minute, you get Smart Console through your web browser. That is the slide deck. I know I flew through it, but I know slides can get tedious. So I'm checking real quick to see if there's any questions, either in the chat or in the.
Hey, Joe, I've got a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the previous slides where the options were for the different solutions, it mentioned Smart Event and compliance was optional. Do you want to just touch on those and what they can offer?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Smart Event and Compliance Blade, they are very much a part of our existing on-prem solutions. And actually, you get in the first year, when you purchase a new management appliance or virtual appliance, you get Smart Event and the Compliance Blade. Smart Event is our rich reporting, right? You get access to logs. Everybody has access to their logs. But Smart Event is like a SIM for Checkpoint, and it will actually take the logs, correlate them, and build out events and give you information. It'll also allow you access to dashboards and reports that we have created. We pre-can them that are, we think are very valuable. They can be customized to your needs, and you can actually make your own too. So it's pretty cool. I always like to see customers use Smart Event because I feel that Smart Event is the thing that takes Checkpoint to the next level, right? Like your Checkpoint firewalls are great, but the Smart Event takes to the next level. It gives you the insight of what is this firewall doing? What's going on in my environment? Why am I seeing something or other? And it also shows you your return on investment, right? Hey, look at all these things that the firewall blocked every day. And then the compliance blade also comes with the first year. Compliance blade will give you. It actually helps you to audit or test your gateway, your firewall infrastructure to see if it complies with whatever compliance standards you may have, or even stuff you put in there manually. So it's really helpful for compliance officers, for auditing, for audit trails, general reporting, and also like best practices, right? If you say, hey man, I want to be up against NIST, or I want to be like NIST compliant, or I don't have to be, but I'm going to try to be NIST or CSS or ISO, or even Checkpoint's best practices for Checkpoint firewalls. Those things are all in there, and you can go through and make your changes and meet those things. Any other questions? I didn't see any in the Q&A so far. So, okay. Yeah, so that's the Prezo, right? And then I wanted to zip over to the actual Infinity portal. So if you have never been to the Infinity portal, this is where Checkpoint manages all of our solutions on the cloud. And as you can see, there's a great many of them here. There's a good chance that most people on here have dealt with one of them, maybe like the posture management for the cloud, or the endpoint for Harmony, or what have you. But today, Smart One Cloud, right? When you come here, it brings you to this main screen, and it just tells you how to get into Smart Console. I'm actually going to skip over that for a second and go to Connect Gateways. So this is literally how we connect our gateways to this cloud management. We add an entry, right? We give it a name, we register it, and then it gives us these instructions. And this is literally how you do it. You fire up, you get your gateway onto the latest jumbo hotfix, right? You connect to the command line of your gateway. You copy this command in there, and that's it. To test it, that it's working, they give you this third step, right? That you run this command and it will show you this output. But really all you got to do is copy and paste this into the gateway and hit enter. Not all that hard to get them connected. Once they're connected, they're up and running just like any other environment. And you connect to it through Smart Console, right? So the Smart Console you've always used to connect to your on-premise management server. See it right here. All you do is you drop down this little drop down here and click Smart One Cloud and give it this token that will be unique to your environment. And that's it. Just log in with your credentials and you're in. Now, the neat thing, and I'm not sure why we don't, it almost makes me think I'm wrong about this in a way. I'm not sure why we don't flaunt this, but the other neat thing is we have this web Smart Console. And I'm going to click it. It's going to take a second to fire up because it's actually giving us a session in an environment. But what you're going to see once it loads up is we can run Smart Console through the browser, right? We don't have to have it installed locally. So this gives us flexibility that we can do, simple management tasks in other places, like at home or what have you. The other thing it gives you, which has been a long, I've definitely heard this from customers for a long time. It also gives you the ability to do this on a Mac or a Linux device because it's a web browser. You're simply browsing to a we actually have like a VDI instance that this is, but it's done through the web browser. So you can do this on a Mac, which is really nice. So as you can see, it's loading up. It takes a second, and I will tell you that the experience with Smart Console here inside the browser is a little bit slower than what you would get, running true, the dedicated Smart Console app. But it has those other advantages we mentioned. But here it is, and it's plain old Smart Console, right? You can go through your gateways, you can visit your security policy. Once you change something, you can go ahead and install. There it is. It has smart event in here, traditional old school smart event that you can look through the logs and the reports and stuff. But also for that part, we have put smart event into this Infinity portal as well, which is really nice. So you can actually just come here if you're only looking at logs or at a report, you don't have to open up Smart Console. You can simply create a tab. For those that have used Smart Event, this will look familiar. You can go ahead and choose one of our pre-made reports or one of our pre-made views. So, and I don't know if there's going to be data in there, but since we talked about the compliance blade, let's see what happens when we open the compliance view. And again, it's through a web browser. So and also there's the internet's between the connections, so it's not quite as quick as your on-premise equipment, but there is a lot to it. Let's put the compliance report here. Might not be on the compliance blade. Let's just try general overview. That one will work. There you have it. Here's the general overview, right? So you just go ahead and get those views. I see a question. Are you seeing alerting through this dashboard as well? So can you get alerts through this dashboard? That's an excellent question. You can set up the same email notifications that you always were able to through Smart Console. But you will get any sort of report, anything from Checkpoint, right? Because we're monitoring this environment, right? So there you go. Identity awareness update failed. So that's the type of thing you're going to see here in the notifications. It's going to be right up here. You got this little one. The downsides of this, because I know that's something to think about, is as we said, it's a tad slower. It's not too bad, but it is a little slower than on-premise gear. But that's the nature of hosting something on the cloud. Because it's hosted on the cloud in our secure workspace, you do not have SSH access to these servers. We do. And so if you need to do something through the command line, you have to work with us through a ticket. It's easy enough to open one. Just go right here and contact support. But for whatever CLI type function you need to do, you'll have to go ahead and work with our support. The other thing to mention is that so that's a drawback. And then the last drawback I'll put out there is that if you look at it in terms of a lifetime, I guess it's not a drawback, but this service over the course of several years will be more expensive than like an on-prem virtual server. But you have to remember too that you're getting in exchange for that additional cost, monitored people from Checkpoint looking at the machine, doing the upgrades and updates for you. And they actually, a question that I see in the chat, which is perfect for right now. How does the upgrade system, how does the upgrades work? Like, how does that flow run? We actually reach out to you 2 weeks in advance. We say, hey, 2 weeks from today, we're going to do planned maintenance on your management server. And so, you can either say, okay, great, and you could leave it be and we'll do it. We do it outside of working hours always for your area. Or if you want to change it and schedule a different date, you just reply back and schedule whatever date you want. So it's, we're doing the updates for you. We're taking care of it. But of course, we don't want to have do it at a time that's inconvenient for you. So that's a great question. But yeah, those are the, that's the thing that you're getting from the moving it to a service, is that you're having someone from Checkpoint take care of the maintenance of it, right? And of course, your uptime is it's actually linked to whatever cloud provider we use. We currently use AWS, but that might change in the future. They have whatever AWS's guarantee is, 99.9999% or whatever uptime. And because it's in the cloud, what also is cool is you're getting high availability, right? Because it's replicated across the cloud. Whereas on premise, you would need a second server and you need to maintain that second server. So that's about it for Smart One Cloud. As you can see, it's pretty much the identical day-to-day usage experience as Smart Console, because you do manage it through Smart Console, but the architecture infrastructure is a little different, right? As well as the major projects related to it. Okay, I'm going to hold for one more minute here in case I get any more questions, and if not, I can give you a few minutes of your day back. Okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate everybody hopping on. I want to wish everybody happy holidays, and we'll see you in January. Thank you very much.